Finally, the arrival of the United States military might, courtesy the President Donald Trump. Ladies and gentlemen, finally, Donald Trump, he said it, and you know the rest of the story. It's about the genocide in Nigeria and the United States of America alongside its military with the commander-in-chief. I'm talking about the President Trump. Yes, preparation and arrival. What will become of bandits and terrorists? Let us begin from here.
United States military has drawn up contingency options for potential and ground strike to intervene in Nigeria. The plan reportedly includes 3 levels of military options: light, medium, and heavy, all designed to be escalatory. The light option involves partner-enabled operations where the U.S. would assist Nigerian forces in targeting Boko Haram and other militants. The medium option involves drone strikes on militant camps, bases, and convoys. And a heavy option would deploy an aircraft carrier group into the Gulf of Guinea with fighter jets and possibly long-range bombers conducting strikes deep within northern Nigeria. This revelation that, the Pentagon has actually drawn up strike plans escalates the crisis from rhetoric to potential reality. Well, in the meantime, United States Senator Tommy Tuberville has voiced his support for President Trump's threat of military action in Nigeria. Appearing on Fox News, the Alabama Republican senator backed Trump's position on alleged Christian genocide in Nigeria, endorsing potential intervention to protect Christians.
Would you support U.S. troops going into Nigeria?
No, you bet I would. 62,000 Christians killed in Nigeria, 100,000 killed in Africa, 18,000 churches burned. Now, there's a lot of evidence there, and that's probably an underestimate, John, but we cannot allow this to happen to people that can't defend themselves. It's just absolutely insane. If we need to get involved in something like this, President Trump could end that in a heartbeat. This wouldn't be like going into Russia or China or North Korea or Iran. This would be going and helping innocent people that would be able to take back over their country. It's a shame something like this happened, but we can't overlook it. We can't underestimate it.
Well, the senator's remarks represents the first major congressional backing for Trump's threat to invade Nigeria, signaling that the president may have support among Republican lawmakers for military intervention. This adds a concerning legislative dimension to Trump's threats, suggesting this may not merely be presidential rhetoric, like I said, but could gain congressional support. In the meantime, in another development, this is quite reassuring, Ayo. It's good to see that the presidency and also the president is willing to collaborate at this point, reassuring Nigeria that there is, of course, like he mentioned, the constitutional rights to practice religion freely. But we also have the conversation about the Sharia law and the blasphemy law, which is, almost embedded in the constitution, in the Nigerian constitution. I'd like for you to buttress that part of that statement.
Section 38 of the Constitution guarantees religious freedom for all Nigerians. And it says that no state, part of it is that no state must have a dominant religious. Nigeria is a secular state in essence. It means that if I'm a Muslim and I live in the north, south, east, south, I should be able to practice my religion without fear or discrimination. If I'm a Christian, as a Christian, I am able to go to any part of the country and practice my religion without fear, discrimination, or enticement or forcing for me to move away to another religion. Now, these are some of the issues that have now come off. And I've talked about it is high time we start to have these uncomfortable conversations, yes. OG. And I believe that this incident, sad incident, gives rise to us to correct some things that have not been right. If you speak to a number of people living, particularly in the north, and I say this with all sense of responsibility, a number of Christians have talked about how some of these terrorist organizations who are termed as Islamic terrorist organizations, the Boko Haram, which is most prominent, actually target people who are not of the faith, so whether it be Christians or moderate Muslims. And that's why you can understand why many of them have talked about their churches being burned, Christians dying, priests being kidnapped, a number of people targeting. If you recall, during the last administration of El Rufai in Kaduna State, we know how polarized it was. Christians seem to not be protected at all. Thanks to the governor now, Basanu, who is doing a lot of work in trying to reconcile fragmented relationships. So beyond this targeting of Christians, it's also the freedom to practice. OJ, in some parts of these areas, they say that when churches, the land is owned by the government, the state government. After 100 years, you can apply for it to be renewed. That there's some churches who go to apply, and there are some policies that silently target religious freedom in these areas. We haven't spoken up for these people. Many times we talk about people who are on certain days or certain religious festivals. We heard Professor Warren talk about that. We have killings in these areas. What does that mean? It means that people are afraid to actually fully express themselves. When you have a state where Sharia law is in operation, how can a Christian freely practice their religion in that area? These are the things that we need to start talking about so that we don't have this narrative of religious intolerance. Beyond that, we brought up the issue of Deborah Solomon in Sokoto State, Samuel, where people were afraid to speak out or speak up. Yes, because of yes, she said something that the other faith said, oh, it wasn't of their faith. She has freedom of expression. I think what was a bigger travesty was the fact that despite what happened, nobody was apprehended. Till today, even though their faces are in public glare, they were not afraid. They did it brazenly. So there are some parts of the country where your religious freedom is up to a certain limit. Yes. It is curtailed. We have to be honest about this. And I believe that one of the things that this situation will bring to light is the fact that in some sectors of Nigeria, some people do not actually have that constitutionally guaranteed right to religious freedom. We need to talk about that. We need to be honest about that. And by being honest about that is the foundation to solving the problem.
And that is a big point. Thank you, Ayo, for highlighting that part of the speech. We're talking about religious persecution here. Christians being killed. That is really the main topic. But Tinubu is saying that we will defeat terrorism, whether internally or with collaboration. And also the fact that the minister's message of calm reflects the Nigerian government's strategy of projecting stability despite sobering realities, while the administration emphasizes being, not in a panic mode and reaffirms constitutional guarantees of religious freedom. Nigeria ranks number 6 on the Global Terrorism Index, just above Somalia and Israel. This is a stark contradiction that undermines reassurances of effective security management. And we're looking at this graph. I mean, this disconnect between, official messaging and international assessment exposes the challenges facing the Tinubu administration at the moment. If you can pull up that graph so we can actually see, where we rank in the Global Terrorism Index at this moment. Rufai, I'd like for your thoughts also with the fact that the U.S. is, preparing to put boots on ground. Also, the president's reassurance, and he's, this is the first time we're hearing him speak at the moment.
With that data you released, it shows that the government narrative is not working. Nigeria ranks 6 on terrorism index. The question is, what was our ranking close to 20 years ago before all of this terrorism started? So it shows that in the last over 15 years, government has not done a lot to nip things in the bud. See, Ralph Waldo Emerson said something, that what you do speaks so loud I can't hear what you say. What Nigeria has done as a nation, as regards religion, it speaks so loud that we can't hear what it says. According to the Constitution, there is no state religion. But a government that has subsidized religious travels, under what basis and what guise has it done that? Is that not an affirmation of the idea of state religion? A government that increasingly have not been able to nip perpetrators of heinous crimes against people with religious affiliation in the bud. A government where a government official said he had nothing wrong with blasphemy. And I'll tell you this, I have seen ex-government officials laugh at me because I have a Muslim background and I converted to Christianity. Yes.
What's the laugh about? I don't understand what that means. Well, why?
That I am deluded.
Okay.
My mother is Christian. Mm-hmm. I went through the religious understanding process as a child, but I'm Christian.
All right.
But I respect my Muslim background. In fact, I do a lot for a family mosque that's built in our village. Mm. But I've seen government officials laugh at me, an ex-government official, laugh at me when I put out that tweet saying I don't know what I was doing.
Right.
So you can see that what we do is different. Mm-hmm. And there have been persecution along the lines of religion.
Yes.
Why am I saying this? I'm saying this because every religion should be able to respect one another in Nigeria. Yeah. And that's one thing we're not doing enough. But the most important point I want to make, the complicity in the security architecture is a big problem.
All right.
The fact that people are complicit, I think because see, it even makes it difficult for the fighting soldiers to trust each other. Mm-hmm. And that's why we've constantly condemned narratives of people that defend bandits and terrorists. So these are the problems we should look at. We want solutions.
This is it.
But we need to live in a fair society.
Welcome back. Well, it seems the United States of America has decided to take the bull by the horn. At the onset of it, there was this fear, and I do not blame people. Obviously, they know how the United States play cunning when it comes to military manipulation, propaganda, and then the military strike, how they have destroyed several countries. And when I talk about destruction, it doesn't mean that that country itself, apart from Libya, it doesn't mean the country itself is in a good place. Most of the times, those countries are really shit hole. A lot of terrible things are happening there. But like I said, when the United States steps in, do not expect miracles. Rather, destruction. That's what often comes. They will steal and do a lot of terrible things. That's what they do. It's a wicked world that we live in, a wicked world. But based on what the United States is presenting, that is if they stick to their contingency plans, if they stick to it, then maybe it might appear or look like. But the government of the United States will not engage, although it is now a loud, a very loud one. And we've also heard that neighboring countries are prepared. They know that now that the United States of America is prepared to launch and to engage, definitely, you know how it is. These terrorists, bandits, and criminals will probably start. So, well, the thing is that Gumi, let me even begin from Gumi. Gumi is kind of, in a way, Gumi is trying to protect. He's always the face, the spokesperson. He served in the Nigerian army as a military doctor, and now he's making more kind of defense for these terrorists and bandits. He's saying, oh, they should not be struck down. If they do, it will become much more explosive. What I think they will be working on is this: rather than them escaping out of course, some of them will do escape out of Nigeria, probably to the neighboring countries, which they know also that the United States will reach them there too. And I hope the Nigerian government will also join, and the military of those countries will join to also flush out these evil, wicked people once and for all. Maybe they go to the deserts, in the Sahel and all die there. They will definitely. But what I'm thinking is this: what they will want to do, and this is where the Nigerian military or military of various countries around, this is what they need to do. There must be intelligence here and there. What they will do is to disarm themselves, meaning stash their weapons and move in as civilians. They will move in as civilians. They will come in. Some of them will pretend to be sellers of food items. The normal. They will be suya seller. They will be in your face delivering food, selling of fruits, and they will stack themselves. They will embed themselves. They will bring maybe one or two cows, station themselves here and there, moving around. And basically, since this is what they do, this is all that they know how to do, they will then begin to create cells, little cells here and there to continue to strike. It will be like a sleeper cell where they will not be active until it is needed for them to unalive people. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what your thoughts are as regards to this. You've heard what Oji Okwe said. And of course, a lot of people are following up on this. They want to know, is the United States of America, is Donald Trump putting out anti-threats, or they are really prepared? He has given the federal government of Nigeria, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he has given him time to take action. He said enough of this. And as you can see, a lot of people have presented a lot of proofs and atrocities committed by these state governors or military whenever it has to do with a religion that is not theirs. Now, are we saying that Muslims are also caught in between? I'll explain further. You see, these bandits believe that they have a higher calling, and whoever it is that does not support their push to unalive people, they get angry. For example, they need you to pay a certain tax to them. If you do not pay that to them, or somehow they got wind of one informant, someone giving information to maybe military intelligence or whatever it is, anything could just get them upset, and they are like, you know what? Let us erase this village, because these villagers, they refused, or we kept our weapons there, and somehow it was the military intelligence got wind of it. So let us erase this village. A lot of terrible things happening here and there. So those that are saying Muslims are also caught in between, the Muslims that are caught in between are those that they think, and of course it's still the same. We have extremists. These are criminals that will quote verses in the Quran to unalive human beings. It is not supposed to be accepted. It will not be accepted. It should not be accepted. And it is also public knowledge that military officers are part of this. So what we have is threefold. We have politicians. We have religious clerics. And we have military. The three are the ones keeping terrorists and bandits alive. They are the ones keeping them alive. It's as simple as ABC. They are the ones keeping this banditry and terrorism. They are the ones keeping it alive. It's simple as ABC. Okay, let's look at the clashes. How can a sensible country accept, regardless of, a lot of natural occurrences could result into you having a downtime when it comes to your personal businesses. So we've heard that many of the cows that you see these criminals move from one point to the other, that causes clashes between villages and towns and ethnic groups. Same Fulani and maybe a couple of Hausas. We don't want to hear stories such as, these people love their cows more than themselves. It is utter rubbish. They said that these criminals running around with cows, that the cows belong to certain Islamic cleric, belong to certain ex-generals, that they have loads of those cows. The job of these guys is to protect themselves with weapons and take the cows all over the place. Enough is enough. This has to come to an end. And if the government wants to be swift, they now need to take action. Enough of telling us that the Sahel is dry. That's why they have to bring cows into the towns and villages and cities. Enough of that. Imagine coming to Abuja or Lagos and you are arriving at the airport and the first sight is that of a cow roaming around the airport, moving around the roads of the airport. How embarrassing is that? How stupid can that be? There should be a section provided at the outskirts with proper security, monitoring if there is any stupidity or excess there. And also, the government must find a way to also make sure that those hubs are not a kind of hideout for bandits and terrorists. Because once you give them a space and you allow them staying there, after a while, they begin to stack weapons there. And that's the point where they will strike states in Nigeria. So it's important, very much important. The government needs to do the needful about this. Now that the president is saying, as long as our oil, it's not as long as the oil is, our economy is, forget what Trump is saying. We cannot forget what Trump is saying 100%. We have to listen, because the only time you guys wake up and decide to do the needful is only when you realize that there is a stronger or bigger or more powerful interest. Tinubu will not react or maybe get rattled up if it were a politician or a concerned citizen raising up all of this. You'll be arrested. You'll be locked up. DSS will visit you for stating the obvious. But now, the United States is talking about it, and the president quickly addressed it, and I think action is needed. We don't want to hear stories of, the military. No. Enough of this shenanigan. Enough of this shenanigan. Enough of it. They need to begin to deal with the excesses, the cows, and the foolishness. They need to bomb Gumi and the rest of his boys. They need to bomb them. Imagine, broad daylight. They are having meetings and taking pictures and videos. What is the military doing? What is the military intelligence doing? They are supposed to unalive both the link up and the terrorists. Anytime Gumi or any of these goons are meeting with these terrorists or these bandits, you unalive them. Now, Gumi is quick to point to the southeast of Nigeria. He said there is always a reason for people to be guerrillas, terrorists or bandits or whatever it is. He said, look at the southeast of Nigeria. They are kidnapping themselves, creating havoc, anarchy, insecurity in the southeast of Nigeria, kidnapping and all of that, doing all of those terrible things in the southeast of Nigeria. What is the government doing about it? He pointed to the Niger Delta, the militants, and how the federal government, Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, had granted them amnesty. He said, well, amnesty should be given also. Now, Buhari granted amnesty to certain people. He said they are repentant terrorists, which to an extent certain people understood what that could mean and the reason why that should be. Being a terrorist is a very complex matter. First, you have to be inducted. They will manipulate your thoughts and all of that. And there are times that you are not even interested in joining, but you have to. If you don't, they will threaten to unalive you and unalive your village. And you don't want your mom, your grandparents, and your sisters and all of that. So you just give yourself to terrorism in the hope that your village will be secured and protected. It's a complex dynamic. So they granted some of them amnesty, clothed them, gave them this, and said some of them could even join the military, and can you imagine terrorists part of the military? Because they are now repentant, so they can show the military how to attack and take away unalive. Yeah, to an extent, it makes sense. But I think we've come to that point, that place where the needful has to be done. Yes, the needful has to be done. Enough of games, enough of dramas, enough of this foolishness. Enough of foolishness. Enough of foolishness. We cannot continue in sin and expect grace to abound. God forbid. That is what the scriptures of Christians say. God forbid. We cannot accept stupidity, foolishness, or any of those shenanigans anymore. It's time for the needful to be done. It's time for what has to be done be done. Enough of this, living in a life of emptiness where the government is protected and they are leaving you to sort out your RIP in whatever way it comes, either by terrorism, banditry, kidnapping, and all of that. Some have even said that you cannot traverse certain areas if you are from Abuja to the east and you are passing through Kogi. They say that place is now a kind of stronghold of terrorists and or bandits and kidnappers. And let me tell you this for free. Do not think it's a tribal thing. Do not get me wrong. Don't get it twisted. It's not a tribal thing per se, although there are certain tribes that can be pointed to. But the terrorism of human life, such as kidnapping, selling of body parts, in the southeast of Nigeria, these goons are there and they are Igbos. Let me tell you this for free. So before we begin to stoke up, Hausa Fulani alone, kidnapping started in the southeast of Nigeria, and the north took over, and the face of it is now religion, because they believe they need sponsorship and support from their like-minded criminals in the Arabia. They need such. So they imputed religion into it. But the truth of the matter is this. All of this is born out of wickedness. These are evil people. There is no two-way or ways about it. Let's call a spade a spade. Right now, as I speak, the whole of the southeast of Nigeria / you're moving down to Edo State, Kogi State. The stronghold of the Fulanis are, of course, close to their own their enclave is around their states, whilst the southeast of Nigeria, presently there are only two parts of Nigeria that are not safe: the north and the east of Nigeria. Can you believe it? They are shouting Biafra, Biafra, this and that, and they are unaliving themselves, kidnapping themselves, doing the worst of the worst that you can ever think of to themselves, kidnapping themselves, unrest, and a lot of terrible things. It's like, this Biafra thing and this northern thing, if you look at it closely, to an extent, regardless of what some people want to say, that it's a Christian genocide, it is this, is that, they are kind of having similar mindset, because you cannot do sit at home and kidnap yourselves because you now need to fund your stupidity and all of that. Kidnap people, kidnap your kinsmen, and then say it's a Christian genocide. What nonsense. What foolishness. It does not add up. Not at all. I don't know what your thoughts are about this. Let's call a spade a spade. As Donald Trump is moving in to deal with this issue of, I think we'll need the help of Donald Trump in the southeast of Nigeria to bring about sanity, since the government is not ready to do the needful. And even if they want to, there will always be this scream and shout, it is the Fulani, Yoruba saboteur. Whereas Igbos are not even at peace with themselves there. Life is not okay Insecurity started in the southeast of Nigeria. Instability started in the southeast of Nigeria. Even when Nnamdi Kanu was moving around, stoking up fires and embers of whatever it is that he's hoping that he could get, gathering people up, of course, his own concern to then, after he had escaped from Nigeria, was about the herdsmen in the bush and forest. But now, question is, do we still have Fulanis in the southeast of Nigeria, in the bushes of Nigeria, or do we have Igbos in the bush kidnapping themselves? Nowadays, you barely find people coming home, mass homecoming, as they do before. They don't anymore, because you'll be kidnapped. At this point, Ember month, December, is now a competition between aliens from the Sahel and that of Nigeria, from the north and the east, looking for who to devour. Kidnapping will be the biggest and major now. It's a terrible thing. Well, I don't know what your thoughts. I don't know what your thoughts are, ladies and gentlemen. It's a serious matter. It's time for sanity. So Trump should also visit. There is also Christian genocide in the southeast of Nigeria, where certain so-called whatever, they are not Christians. They say they are custodian or worshippers of traditional deity or ancestral whatever. They are not Christians. They are also kidnapping Christians in the southeast of Nigeria. They are kidnapping Christians. Trump should also visit the southeast. We want sanity. And a lot of dialogue needs to be done. Nnamdi Kanu, he has made certain mistakes in several ways, but he deserves to request for cessation, and he has done it in a way that it shouldn't be done. The truth of the matter is this: there's no cooperation. If not, why are you voting? Lately, there is the election was conducted in Anambra State. People came out. Who are these people? Do you want one Nigeria? Why are you voting? Why are you queuing behind Peter Obi? And you are saying you want Biafra. You want Biafra to destabilize, or you want Biafra or Igbo nation to actually secede out of Nigeria, cut off from Nigeria. But you are voting and you want Biafra. We saw them, all of them collecting food items and some couple of cash here and there. We saw it. And they're saying they want to break out of Nigeria. What nonsense is that? What rubbish is that? So, Nnamdi Kanu's case is complex, regardless of how you want to kind of think about it. Nnamdi Kanu's case is that of stoking up violence. The only way is to sanitize and sensitize your people. They cannot come to vote. They cannot come to vote. But how do they go about it? We are telling you not to vote. Anybody that comes to vote, you're a saboteur, we will unalive you, we will arrest you. We will kidnap you. It's a difficult thing. You have to be able to reach to the minds of these people and not just use, hey, Yoruba, 8 Yoruba pastor, 8 Igbo pastor, 8 Hausa pastor, we people, we are superior, we are from Israel. Try to stoke up that kind of hatred. No, speak to the minds of your people. Let them rebut themselves and realize that to get out of Nigeria is a collective thing. If 80%, 90% refuse to vote, refuse to be part of one Nigeria, refuse to be a Nigerian, I think things will make sense. That's my thought. So Trump needs to do the needful also in the southeast of Nigeria, because people are crying in the southeast of Nigeria. Constant fear.